Look at me. You looking at me? You looking at me? Okay, look at me. Who do you think you see? White hair, jowls, a little bit rumpled. You see an old man. You probably think he's a retired, maybe accountant, or he owned a hardware store. He certainly is conservative in every possible way. You don't know diddly crap about me. You don't know, as they say, the trouble I've seen. You don't know the circus monkeys dancing around under this white hair. You don't know me. I want you to know me. You might like me. Maybe you wouldn't. But you might get a rise out of what I've done, where I've been, what I've seen. So they closed down bingo during the pandemic, and I wrote a book, and this is it. I'm just lucky to own my own car, and I'm Joe Taylor. Whoops, there we go. Newfangled computers. Okay, it's I'm just lucky to own my own car, and what I thought I'd do is I'm going to read the introduction to it to give you an idea of what it is, and yeah, maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't, maybe you want to buy it, maybe you won't. Hey, that's up to you. Okay, this is the introduction to I'm Just Lucky to Own My Own Car. Two quotations perfectly bookend my life. Joseph is talkative and annoys the other children was written by Mrs. Carroll, my second grade teacher. It was the first comment ever included on one of my report cards. Many decades later, my buddy Kevin, knowing of my life, remarked, "You're just lucky to own your own car." The short pieces, snapshot, slightly enhanced remembrances, observations, and musings that follow are culled from a life that began as the innocent heir to a troubled mother's fairy tale romance and marriage to a storybook hero of a soldier. That soldier was a father who never made it back from the hedgerows of France. Growing up Italian and poor in a predominantly WASP Rochester, New York middle-class neighborhood encouraged me to develop my powers of observation to try to fit in. Knowing I never really could resulted in observation being twisted into skepticism and humor, absurd and sardonic. Absurd, that's what I do. Anything and everything, from bigots in a diner to a dead bug on my rug to the puzzle that is my face in the mirror. I do own my own car. I've owned many nice cars, but along the way I've often come precariously close to smashing them and myself into trees. I've been arrested, expelled, bankrupted, passed out, drunk, divorced, homeless, and fired multiple times. When I managed to keep that car running smoothly on the road, I've held high-level managerial jobs in radio, published magazine pieces, owned a beautiful home, won broadcasting industry awards, served on civic and charitable boards, belonged to a country club, starred in community theater, overcome abuse, and treasured the love of my two wonderful daughters. I've dined in five-star restaurants and months later been reduced to getting meals from a food bank. I've learned to take ownership of the good things I've accomplished without apology, qualification, or self-deprecation. Thankfully, my troubled and dark days are behind me, but I see them in my rearview mirror and remember and refer to them in some of my writing and admit it. Trouble makes for more interesting stories than calm does. I grew up in and have always lived in larger cities, a few major ones like Boston, Pittsburgh, Detroit, and Philadelphia. Moving to rural northwestern Pennsylvania 30 years ago was culturally shocking to me. It started with me not understanding why schools were closed and businesses shuttered on the first day of buck season. Well, I'm pretty much accepted in my small rural community. I still, like the Italian kid in a WASP neighborhood, don't fit in and never really will. This allows me yet another opportunity for observation. Many of my pieces reflect the images and attitudes I encounter every day. There are also plenty of pieces in this book for which I have no explanation. You might call them riffs, hallucinations, musings. A shrink would call them, and me, delusional. There are things in this world, people I notice, or thoughts that I have that get me to wondering, scratching my head, or just plain laughing my ass off. You may enjoy them too, or like Mrs. Carroll said, they might annoy you. The book again is I'm Just Lucky to Own My Own Car. There we go. Let me go right there. Okay. And it's available in print or Kindle at Amazon Books. Buy it, read it, you'll enjoy it. Buy it today. I may have croaked by tomorrow.